Live from Jim McCann Stadium at Westerville North High School. Good Friday evening, everyone, and welcome to the C-Bus Sports Radio High School Football Game of the Week. We started week one right here at Westerville North High School. It was actually Westerville South hosting Olentangy. And we finished the regular season tonight as the Warriors host the Dublin Scioto Irish. The Warriors, Chris, already in the playoffs.
Yep.
They've clinched a playoff spot, and talk with my family and say, how in the world do you clinch a playoff spot with a record of 3-6? When there's only 18 teams in your region, Region 3, that's how you get that done. Dublin Scioto, Chris, they have to win to even have any chance of getting in the playoffs.
They have to win and get some help on top of it. So, big game here for Carl Johnson in the Irish of Dublin Scioto. They come in at 3-6, and Mitch, you look at their season, in stretches, they've played some good football. Even though they lost some of those games, they started out 0-4, and that overtime loss against Grove City on opening night, I think, kind of set the tone in the first half of the season for them.
That game was at Grove City. It was at home. It was a loss in OT, as Chris noted, 35-28. They lose to Waterston, the game we had way back in week 2, over at ODU, 21-0. Then they lose to Berlin by only 3 points, 10-7. Kept it very close with South, 28-21 loss. Got their first win over Kilbourne, 17-3. Lost a 3-pointer again to Canal only, 13-10. Beat Franklin Heights and Hayes, 41-18, 32-21, before losing to Big Walnut last week, 41-7. I was just looking at it. They're in region number 7. They're currently ranked 20. But you look at the spread from 15. Well, let's go up to Massillon Perry at 14. They have 10.9536 points. Scioto has 8.0556, and that's a very tight spread. You got St. Charles in there at 9.2, Tays Valley 9.09, Worcester at 8.8, Briggs 8.4, Northland 8.4, and then Scioto at 8.05. So playing a Division I team you would think would help them, but still, even with the win, it's not a guaranteed playoff spot.
No, that definitely. And they'll pick up those big points from Division I. You've got to hope some of those other teams that they did beat. Kilbourne's at Westerville South tonight. That's going to be a tough road for the Wolves to take on the Wildcats over there. Hayes, they beat Hayes. Franklin Heights is winless, so you're not going to pick up any secondary points there. Hayes is, out of the 3 wins they have, their best win. I'd have to say Delaware Hayes has had a pretty good season so far. So you got to hope the Pacers knock off who they're playing tonight and pick up some points so they can move up to that playoff spot, that number 16 spot.
No doubt about it, sir. The Scioto Irish are coached by 23-year head coach Carl Johnson. Carl was actually just beginning when I started this whole melee into broadcasting back in 2004 myself. 3-6 this year, but 195-98 overall, Chris. That's excellent coaching over a long time frame. As for the Westerville North Warriors, they're coached by Brian Johnson in his 5th year, 3-6 this year, 6-13, 33 overall at North in his overall record is 33-55. Again, this is D1 Region 3 against D2 Region 7. Probably I asked Chris what he thought was the most notable matchup in the area tonight, and he came up with, of course, who else is he going to come up with? But
I'm sorry, I just think
his beloved Gahanna Lincoln Lions facing Pick North tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Gahanna's already locked up the number 1 seed in Region 3, and they've already clinched a share of the OCC Ohio. So you're thinking, are they going to be flat? Are they going to be up? They have kind of played well in the last couple years against North as teams have split. So I'm sure they want to get another win. They want to go in there 9-1. Only blemish on the season was at Centerville, and you and I've talked ad nauseum on that game how I feel about that one. But yeah, that's a good game tonight. There's some other games in the area as well. We'll keep the eye out on that on our C-Bus Sports Radio scoreboard coming up. I think Bradley's over at Dublin Kaufman tonight. Darby is against Jerome.
Celtics,
that's another good matchup there as well. Darby's been playing good football lately, Mitchell.
They have. We had them 2 weeks ago, was it, when we were over and they were facing Olentangy. And how about Olentangy going up and beating the Celtics last week?
Yeah.
But you look at Darby, Chris, they've worked themselves all the way up to the number 7 seed in region number 3 as they operate out of D1 Region 3. By the way, it's senior night here tonight at Westerville North High School. I was really surprised, Chris, how many senior football players are on this squad.
There was a lot. There's no kidding about that.
So Hilliard Darby, again, they're at 5-4. Started out, Chris, 0-2, but they've ripped off a couple wins in a row. 42-21 that game again we had 2 weeks ago. Then last week, at home defeat 6-3 Thomas Worthington squad, who played pretty well throughout the rest of the year. 31-7. They just took them down pretty handily tonight again at the Celtics of Dublin Jerome, who somehow at 7-2 still have the number 1 seed in Region 2. They're in that region with Springfield, Centerville, Perrysburg, Liberty.
Some good teams in that region.
Fairmont, Wayne, Berlin, Kaufman, Toledo, Whitmer, Hayes, Marysville, Northmont, Findlay. Only 2 teams in that division also, Chris, a region rather, are not going to make it. Right now it's Miamisburg and Beaver Creek who are out. Miamisburg's got 4 wins and not even guaranteed a home in a spot in the playoffs, Chris, which is ridiculous. But they've got 4 wins probably over lesser teams. Beaver Creek at 2-7. So it's just kind of what happens when you span to 7 divisions and you got, I think the most teams I can think of in any Division 1
is 20
region.
On any Division 1 is 19, I believe.
I think, is that down in
That's
4?
1. I think it's 1.
That'll be, of course, Northeast Ohio. Of course, a little rumblings last week, and I watched the game. It was ridiculous. Moeller loses to Ed 6-0, but that's kind of a sloppy game, but it doesn't really matter, I think, for those 2 teams are both in the playoffs. And
they could be 5-5 and come in and win the state championship.
Right, and that could be very well be the preview of the state final, what we saw last week, or I got a chance to watch down from Norwood Stadium in pretty much the center of Cincinnati, and Moeller had a chance. I was telling Chris about this. First and goal.
I thought that was going to be at Nippert.
No.
Okay.
First and goal at the 1-yard line. Moeller promptly on second and goal fumbles it into the end zone. Eds recovers it and never gave Moeller another chance to score. So just a lot of good matchups going on around the state. And at halftime on the, how do you say it?
Elshire Painting Plus
halftime show. We'll go over all the rankings and whatnot for the state. Again, it really does not matter when it comes down to it. We have to play the games on the field.
Westerville North won the toss, deferred, I believe. Mitchell,
that is correct.
Do you want to go over the starting lineups at this point?
Well, I can do the offense for the Dublin side of Irish, and then we'll do the offense for the Westerville North Warriors. Are they getting ready to do the anthem yet?
Not sure.
Okay. Let's try to get him in here. So, starting for the Dublin side of Irish offense tonight, at right tackle is A.J. Sanders, a 6', 230-pound sophomore. Left tackle is Tristan Arnn, a junior, 6'3", 315 pounds. The right guard is John Sagan, 5'9", 205, and a senior. And then we are going to go to our national anthem. We'll turn it over to the PA announcer and the Westerville North marching band for tonight's Stars and Stripes. Star Spangled Banner, performed by the Westerville North High School Marching Band. Continuing with the starting lineups for Dublin Scioto, I think I was at left guard. That'll be Miles Bryant, a senior, 6', 245 pounds. The center is junior Sean Erfurt, 5'11", 230 pounds. Wide receivers tonight, the Z-back, shall we say first, is Drew Boffman, 5'9", 116, a senior. The slot is Aaron Weeks, senior, 5'9", 155. The X-back is Jariah Moore, 6'1", 180, and a senior. The running back is Dakota Densel, a 5'9", junior, 165 pounds. And the quarterback is Bison Arthur, 6'1", 195, senior. On the year, he's got 1,220 yards, 9 TDs, and 10 picks. Not a ratio you like to have, Chris.
No.
He's also rushed for 366 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Very athletic.
Yes, averaging 3.3 yards per carry. The Westerville North defense, might as well look at them while we have a second to do that. Jeremy Andujar Perez is the defensive end at 5'10", 201 pounds. He's a senior, one of many seniors, as we noted. The other D end is Demetrius John, 6'4", 252, and a junior. Senior Jacob Puster, we saw a lot of him last week, Chris, at Worthington Kilbourne, 5'9", senior, 200 pounds. Corey Howlett, also a senior, 5'10", 201, is the other D tackle. The Will linebackers, Carson Bopp, had a great game last week, 5'10", 180 senior. The Sandbackers, Andrew Davis, a junior, 5'11", 175. Preston Scott, Chris's man crush of the week, 6', 225 junior, is your Mike and/or middle linebacker. The nickel back is Adam Ingram, a senior, 5'9", 150. Jalen White, cornerback, 6'3", 185 senior. Safety Jonathan Stevens, a sophomore, 6', 178. And senior Lance Preston's the other safety, 6'2", 190 pounds. Again, we'll keep you up to date on all the scores going on around the area tonight as they upload onto the website, with the eternal caveat that we don't always get the best data from scorestream.com, but we take what we can get because the eyes and ears of the C-Bus Sports Radio Network are not as extensive as we would like, as the Dublin side of Fighting Irish run out onto the field. They've got their silver uniforms, or silver slacks rather, with white shirts, green numerals, and the silverish helmets, and the Warriors come out dressed in their gold unis tonight with maroon numerals outlined in white. Much, much easier to read than what we had last week, for sure. White helmets with Warriors on the side of the helmets. Look forward to a good ball game tonight. And North again already in the playoffs, but Scioto desperately needs a win to have any hope, because if they lose, Chris, they are OUT out. Forgot to mention, North, same record, 3-6, Chris. Their last win was way back in September, believe it or not. September 9th, 55-0 drubbing of Franklin Heights. They defeated Chillicothe 32-28, Central Crossing 27-0. In there, they have losses to Central 23-20, Westerville Central, Delaware 55-34, Westerville South 35-14, Canal 24-0, Big Walnut 27-17. And last week, a really tough loss. They lost in what final minute that was, Chris? Against Worthington Kilbourne, final net ball game, 30-26. What hurt them last week, Chris, was not having Stanley Jackson Sr. in that third quarter with a slight tweak of an ankle.
Yeah, we're having trouble with the audio connecting, Mitchell. Just wanted to let you know.
Okay, do you want to try a different...
I just switched it over, so let's see if it's going to take. I gotta love technology, folks.
Well, sometimes we like it and sometimes we do not. But we'll keep broadcasting on as we get ready for the kickoff here. North to kick things off. Dublin Scioto going to receive this kickoff.
Unbelievable. Okay, it shows that we're getting out, Mitchell, even though it doesn't say that we are here. Let me double check this and make sure it is.
I checked with the wife. We'll get a little update there. So the ball has been placed on the tee. Back to receive the kickoff should be Jariah Moore. Kicking things off tonight will be Corey Howlett. He'll have it teed up on the right hash, 40-yard line, of course. North to south field tonight as the Warriors will be kicking from north to south. The wind was pretty fresh at about 18 miles an hour when I got here, but I think as the sun goes down, the wind should subside just a bit. Hallett with the check of the lines, both left and right. Here's the boot. A high kick, short kick that will hit at the 20-yard line and be picked up on one hop around the 15. Up the near sideline at the 30-yard line, 35, 40, 45-yard line, and taken down there is Jariah Moore. One of the two twin safeties back. We've got an injury, Chris, right away from Westerville North.
Looks like number 14 for North. Yeah.
Confirmation that we actually are getting out, which kind of makes us happy.
Justin Spade.
Big weekend of sports around the country as we've got the ALCS going on, the NLCS going on. And Chris, and I know you're not watching much baseball this year, but who do I root for? I don't like the Yankees. I don't like the Cheaters. I'm sorry, the Astros. So I'm not sure who I'm going to root for there.
There's an easy result for that. You just turn it off.
Oh, I like to have baseball in the background. I've always enjoyed that. That's what I grew up doing, listen to Marty and Joe and listen to Reds games back in the day on the radio.
Nella, if you could, please let us know if it drops. I'm very suspect about the audio connecting tonight, even though it says we're going out. The iPad's showing that it is not. So
up and walking off the field is the aforementioned Justin Spade. Looks like maybe a arm issue, but out comes Bison Arthur in the offense for Dublin Scioto. Dakota Denzel, the featured running back, 4.9 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 36 receptions, Chris.
Yeah.
And a TD.
Actually used to play in the slot. He's taking over for Ed Warshram, the injured running back.
Arthur is going to keep it himself, left side, 45-yard line, and throw down of bounds around the 49-yard line. Gains only a couple yards on the play. Told Chris I was on the way over tonight that I was listening to a radio broadcast of East Knox and Danville, the dreaded Devil Doll game. So that's going on. I can't remember if that's at Danville or Knox. 2nd and 2 after a gain of just a couple. I'm sorry, 2nd and 8. Arthur flips it to Denzel. Now an end around to Weeks. Started left, going right, gets the corner. Going to be pushed out of bounds in Warrior territory inside the 40. Will have the first down all the way down to the 37-yard line.
So it went to Weeks to Moore, correct? They did a double.
Yes, well, they went Denzel. Did it go to Moore? I didn't see
it was
the
Weeks
enemy.
to Moore.
Okay, I apologize for that. So
a good looking play for the Irish here in their first possession.
So Jariah Moore is number 6. Weeks is 5. I apologize for getting the numbers incorrect. Trips left. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line of North. Bison Arthur operates out of the pistol. He'll hand off right side to Denzel. Gets a little room. Cuts inside the outside defender down to the 30-yard line. Picks up 7 yards on the carry.
Nice looking run there. Good job blocking on that offensive line. Was able to get the corner, Mitch.
Arthur will send one wide right, 2 wides left. Denzel behind him in the pistol. He's standing at the 35-yard line. And then we have movement upon the offensive line. Looks like the tight end, Chris Ashton Wilson, who I forgot to give as part of the starting lineups. Ashton, a 6'4", 215-pound senior. 16 catches, 155 yards, 9.7 per, plus a TD.
One of the two-way starters, 3 of them on the Dublin Scioto Irish team.
3 two-way starters.
That's what I meant. You know what I'm talking about.
Just to help our listeners out. Trips wide left, the wide side of the field. 2nd and 8 now. High snap. Hand off to Denzel, right side. Nowhere to go, Chris. He's stoned after a 1-yard gain. Several jerseys there to push him back.
Mr. Preston Scott, number 9. You'll hear that name a lot tonight, folks. Young man is very active from that middle linebacker position.
No question. So that's going to be 3rd and 8. Could be 4-down territory. We'll see how the Irish play it. Twins left, 1 wide right for Arthur. Looking to the sideline to pick up the play. 10-18 remaining, first quarter. Just underway on the C-Bus Sports Radio Network. Final regular season broadcast of the year. We have our tournament information for you for next week. We'll give that to you after this play. Handoff right side to Denzel at the 35. Gets the corner, gets the first down as he scampers out of bounds around the 25-yard line.
They did a good job of sealing the corner, Mitch, and letting him get outside. Defense failed to react quick enough.
Next Friday night, we will be, myself and Ben Patrick, will be at Westerville South High School. South is going to be hosting a game. Chris reached out this week. They quickly said, come on over. So that's where we will be. No idea on the opponent as of this moment.
As it sits right now, it'll be Massillon Perry, but we know that'll change.
Trips wide left. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Keeping up the middle is Arthur. Not much room. Twists his way down to about the 22, maybe the 21. Gets 4 yards on the carry.
Carson Bopp and Andrew Davis on the tackle for the Warriors.
So gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Weeks will split wide right with Moore. Split wide left is maybe Boffin. We'll have to double check that. Ball's on the right hash mark. About 3 minutes gone in the first quarter. Arthur back to throw, flips it out in the flat to Moore. He has the first down inside the 15, wrestled down around the 10-yard line. Making that stop was Carson Bopp.
Nice looking play. They took the running back to the right, came back on the tight end. Was it Moore or Ashton?
Dry Moore.
Moore came back with the one of the wide receivers, the X back. On an underneath screen, is able to move the chains.
First and goal right at the 10-yard line. Denzel behind Arthur in the shotgun / pistol. Choose your acronym. Hands off to Denzel, trying to get the corner, cuts up at the 10-yard line, down to the 5, and thrown down, twisting his way to the 4-yard line to make it second and goal from the 4.
Demetrius John on the stop, the defensive end. Young man has 8 Division I offers, Mitchell, mostly from MAC schools, but 8 offers is 8 offers.
I got 0. They actually give him forward progress to the 3, so second and goal from the 3, 8:37 left first quarter. Denzel is going to lead the way for Arthur. He's going to be hit at the line of scrimmage and maybe lunge down near the 2, Chris. Going to bring up a third and goal from the 2.
Andrew Davis at Sam linebacker position made the stop. Appreciate the athletic department here allowing us to come out tonight. The press box crew, Mr. Scott, very hospitable as usual here at Westerville North High School.
Third and goal from the 2-yard line. Just about 8 minutes remaining in the quarter. Arthur has the snap, rolling to his right, throws into the end zone. Wide open for the touchdown catch is Ashton Wilson. The senior with the grab to put the Scioto Irish up 6-0 early here at Westerville North High School.
Made it look easy on that first drive, Mitch.
Well, they got good field position on a short kick and a good return. Ethan Ships on to attempt the PAT, 21 of 22 on the season. Holding will be Landon Harris. The snapper is Jack McKee. Snap back, good, hold good, and the kick is good. 7:55 remaining in the opening quarter. The Irish on the scoreboard first. They lead 7-0 on the C-Bus Sports Radio Network.
So you know how much I love broadcasting podcasts, but I also love high school sports. On behalf of the OHSAA, let's all do our part to set a good example and make this a fun and safe experience for the kids involved. I know this game means so much to the players, coaches, and fans, but high school sports are about much more than the wins and losses. They teach life lessons that will be with the players long after their playing days are over. Good luck to both teams, and remember to respect the game.
Back at Westerville North High School, the Warriors find themselves in a hole already, down 7-0, getting ready for their first possession of the night.
Warriors set to receive the ball to begin their first possession of the first half.
Yeah, nice looking drive they put together there, Mitch. Total, what, 60-yard drive? 65-yard?
About that. By the way, my internet's working about as well as yours. 64 degrees is the game time temperature. For some reason, Chris, I had Cleveland weather up. I have no idea why they thought we were in Cleveland. Kicking off tonight will be Ships. He approaches the ball, puts the foot into it. That'll be fielded around the 2-yard line. Crossing the 10, crossing the 15, across the 20-yard line of, I believe, Zeke Hunter. We'll double-check the number. Gets tackled around the 22, 23-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Warriors. Quarterback will be Ronald Jackson, sophomore.
Zeke Hunter returns the kickoff back to the 20.
As you mentioned in the pregame, Mitchell, they had kind of stalled out when Stanley Jackson Jr. got hurt in that Kilbourne game last week. I believe it was 3 series where they went 3 and out in a row, correct? Or start the second half.
Correct, and that was mainly the third quarter. Jackson Jr. came back in the fourth quarter and kind of got the offense back and rolling. We'll set the starters here. High snap over the head of Ronald Jackson. Back at the 10-yard line. Ball still on the ground. Falling on, I believe, are the Irish around the 1-yard line, and they do. It'd be 1st and goal around the 1 as a snap from Brady McAllister. We talked about it last week, Chris. The snaps were slow and high.
Yeah.
That one was really high, and the 5'10 sophomore Jackson had no way to grab that. It's going to be 1st and goal Irish. Let's see where they finally spot it. I guess I don't have to do the offensive starters for Westerville North. 1st and goal at the 2, ball at the right hash.
Wow, that's huge.
Irish with the chance to get up 14-0.
Halfway through the first quarter.
That would be obviously a big development for them. My Lions, Chris, already up on the dreaded Goshen Warriors 7-0. We'll keep you posted on that score because mainly of my interest, and Chris will want to know how his Lincoln Lions are doing tonight. Bison Arthur in the offense back out on the field. Arthur with a 1-yard touchdown or 2-yard touchdown throw and catch to tight end Wilson. Hands off to Denzel. Puts his head down and burrows down off the right tackle.
Boy, it's right at the 6-inch mark, Mitch.
Sagan.
They're going quick as well.
Right, just inside the 1-yard line. They're right back up to the line. Looking to the sideline for the call. They've got an extra back in the backfield. I can't see who that is, Chris. Bunch of moving around and shifting around. Arthur sets the line. Denzel shifts to just behind him and to his left. Arthur will keep it himself, twisting to the goal line.
It's going to be close.
They're going to say he's short.
Irish are stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
One of the interior linemen. Boy, they're going quick again.
Well, they get up there quick, but they don't necessarily go quick.
I think they're just doing that to try to keep any substitutions, but Westerville North doesn't substitute on that defensive line.
No, Arthur was under center. Now he pops out, and I was going to settle back under center. Let's see if they just try the quarterback sneak. Plenty of time on the play clock because they got up to the line so quick. It is a sneak, and Arthur is into the end zone for the touchdown from 1 yard out officially. 6:31 left in the first quarter, and that's the second score of the evening, Chris, for the visiting Dublin Scioto Irish, who have to win and need help too, by the way.
Yeah, and they're playing like they want to win tonight so far.
Desperation will do that to you when you need the win to continue. Lots of seniors that want to get at least one more crack at things. Ships on to attempt the PAT. His kick is up, plenty high, plenty good. 6:31 left, first quarter, 14 Scioto, nothing for the Warriors. Back in a minute. CBUS Sports Radio.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Ohio high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
There is a chance, Chris, that Scioto could face South again. The highest they can get is 14, which would complement, obviously, the current seed for Westerville South at 3. The highest South can get is actually all the way up to the top. A lot of work required, though, to get over Massillon, Washington, the number 1 seed, and then Lake.
I'll tell you right now, I'm not looking, the body language on the Westerville North Warriors is not very enthusiastic at all.
Ships set to kick the ball off. Puts the foot into it, kicks it right towards Hunter. He has it around the 1 yard. I'm sorry. Flag on, okay. Offsides against Scioto. They actually flipped. They put over on the left side Micah Young, far sideline, and Zeke Hunter near side. They flipped them on me. So back it up to the 35-yard line, and now they're going to switch where they kick from. I think they want to keep it away from the sophomore Micah Young. Impressive young player, Chris.
He had a good game last week. He had that 61-yard touchdown reception in that game against Kilbourne last week.
Kilbourne just, about 4 or 5 miles from here, playing at Westerville South tonight?
If that, it's not even that far. It's probably 2 miles.
So that game's going on in Westerville tonight as well. Ships approaching the ball. Kick again. This one will go to Micah Young. He lets it hit the 1 yard line and just rolls into the end zone for a touchback. Offensively for the Warriors tonight, starting at the offensive line, right tackles Cameron Johnson Brim, right guard is Jeremy Andujar Perez, center is Brady McAllister, left guard is Demetrius John, left tackle is Jake Cook. Skill players, wide receivers Jalen White, slot Zeke Hunter, wide receiver Daniel Johnson, slot Jonathan Stevens, tight end Preston Scott, running back Stanley Jackson Jr., and the quarterback is Ronald Jackson, a 5'10", 160 sophomore. 3 wide set for the Warriors. See if they get snap is better. Still high again, Chris. Handoff to Stanley Jackson Jr. Has room across the 25 out to the 27-yard line. Gained 7 on first down.
Nice looking run there. Young man has the opportunity to tote the ball. He does a good job.
Defensive line for the Dublin Scioto Irish D-ends are Ashton Wilson and Kean O'Ryan. Tackles are Israel Hernandez and Tanner Kish. Linebackers Elliot Bennett, Jackson Waldrum, and Deo Could you say that for me?
Olabatui.
Olabatui in the middle. Thank you, Chris. Ronald Jackson throws it in the left flat, little bubble screen, hit at the line of scrimmage and forced out of bounds. I think maybe for the first down. I think it was Jalen White, Chris.
Looks that way, Mitchell. I'm sorry, I was looking at the graphics here. You want to do the defensive backs real quick on the Scioto?
Oh, sure. Derry Olabatui is the cornerback. Aaron Weeks is the opposite cornerback. Jariah Moore and Drew Boffman are your free safety and strong safety, respectively. And they'll be actually a yard short of the first down to make it 3rd and 1 from the 29-yard line. Ronald Jackson with his brother just behind him off his left hip. 2 wide to the right, 1 wide left.
It's Friday night, right?
Yes, sir, it is. Ronald Jackson keeps it himself when he's taken down in the backfield for a loss of about 4 yards. Getting in there, bring him down was Kean O'Ryan, the junior D-end.
54.5 tackles, Mitch. 8.5 sacks, 1.5 TFLs. Hey, great pressure there. Penetration there, forcing the punt.
Surprised he just didn't hand it off to the big man, Stanley Jackson Jr. Let him rumble off the right side, but read option, he chose to keep it. And it cost him. Back to receive this punt is Moore, I believe. Jariah standing back around his own 45. Punter is Corey Howlett. He has a snap. Deliberate punt. That's a good punt that will go to the right of Moore. He just lets it bound, and it trundles around the 43, 44-yard line where it will be down, and a flag comes in. I don't think you're allowed to kick the ball. And the Westerville North player did come up and boot it to try to get it downfield a bit. Oh, darn it, Chris. My Lions are up 14-0 early, and your Lions are up 7-0 early over Pitt North.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to say too much too early about the Lincoln Lions, but the offense has come alive in the second half of the season. Brennan Ward, the sophomore, has done a good job running that offense.
You know, wave the flag off. As where last year we had that game against Pick Central over at Gahanna.
Yeah.
Playoff game, and Ward was just a freshman at the time, as you well remember, and they had some turnovers that cost him, but they have really built upon last year's momentum and come out and playing very good. And of course, you go and you watch the Denver Broncos on Monday night, and who do you see out there playing for the Broncos?
Jonathan Cooper.
Jonathan Cooper, graduate of my wife and Chris's alma mater, the Lincoln Lion, playing DN, and you also look at I think for too quick. Played linebacker at Ohio State, playing D-line now for the Broncos, and just absolutely tearing it up. Baron Browning.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how many Buckeyes you see sprinkled throughout the NFL. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line of Scioto for the Irish offense. 3 wides right, 1 wide left for Bison Arthur. That is BYSON, by the way. Hands off to Denzel. Not much room as he's thrown down right around the line of scrimmage. That was Jeremy Andujar Perez who brings him down for maybe a gain of 1.
Well, they are a senior-laden team, Mitchell, like you mentioned earlier.
They did senior night before the game, folks, and it was just senior after senior after senior. 3 wides right for Arthur, the senior quarterback himself. All the skill players looking to the sideline to get the call. Irish up 14-0, 4:22 left in the first quarter. Arthur, low snap, fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, eludes the first tackler, and only stretches out to about the 48 before he's tripped up there.
Andrew Davis on the stop, that Sam linebacker, goes to the wide side of the field, Mitch.
It's like maybe an injury there. Or is that Arthur with a little, just adjusting his sock, I think, actually.
That was odd in that lineup. Usually the Sam plays on the short side, the Will, the wide side, and they flipped him that time.
3rd and 5 now. 2 wides right, 1 wide left for the Irish offense from their own 48-yard line. They get their 47 of North. Quick throw right side is going to be incomplete, trying to get it to Aaron Weeks. That was a poor pass that time by Bison Arthur.
Do you go for it here? Nope, they're going to kick it. Thought for a second Coach Johnson was going to think about it with a 14-point lead.
I would not do that. Jonathan
No.
Stevens set to go back and receive this punt from the punter, Ethan Ships, averaging 40 yards per boot. Actually, we'll have Stevens back there. I can't see the other number, Chris, near side. High snap, pulled down by Ships, gets the boot away. And the fair catch will be, actually, that was not a fair catch. And breaking out of tackle at the 20-yard line, running near side at the 30 and bumped out of bounds there. Zeke Hunter Man, a man right in his grill and somehow caught that and got out of there. Good job from Zeke.
I think they all expected him to put the hand up, and he didn't.
He did not. So kudos to Zeke. Let's see what kind of scores we got going on around the area tonight. Shamrock 7, Bradley 0 early on in that ball game.
That Davidson Upper Arlington game is important as well for jockeying in position in Region 3.
Grove City over Westland 13-0. Again, these are all early scores. Marysville 14-0 on Tangi Original 0. So Ronald Jackson and the North offense back out on the field trailing 14-0, 3:30 left in the first quarter. Another high snap. He's able to pull it down, hand it off to Stanley Jackson Jr. He has 5 yards somehow. The young man's not quick, but you're not going to bring him down with one man.
He's not quick, but he's elusive, though.
Got good, changes direction.
Jackson very well.
And he's a load at 6'2", 208.
He's able to plant that foot and change directions very quickly, Mitchell.
New Albany down 14-0 to Westerville Central early in that ball game. 4 wide set for Ronald Jackson. In the gun, puts a man in motion from the left slot. Gives it to him on a pop pass. That's Stevens around the right side at the 40-yard line. Keeps the feet moving to get out to about the 42, about a yard short of the first down. Several Irish converge there to bring him down, including Jackson Waldrum, the sophomore linebacker, and others.
Talk about a young man that is put together. 5'11", 230-pound sophomore, Mitch.
61 tackles,
yeah.
So they did give him the spot for the first down out to the 43. So 1st and 10, the initial first down of the night for the Warriors. First play from the line of scrimmage, a snap over the head of Ronald Jackson led to another Irish touchdown. Another high snap. There's a throw out of the backfield. On the left side, that is to Stevens. Somehow escapes trouble, Chris, and gets about 5 yards across the 45 to the 47.
That was all on athleticism right there, Mitchell.
Stevens with 13 receptions, 276 yards, 21 yards per grab, and 4 TDs. A little bit of a Houdini act in the backfield there. Picks up 4.
Hallett coming into the game now, number 25. He'll replace Stevens.
Watterson 3. Partly 0.
Another big game that we forgot to mention earlier.
2nd and 6 from the 47. 2:07 left in the first quarter. 14-0 Irish lead this one. Again, they have to have a win to have any chance to get into the playoff picture in Region 7. Jackson fakes the pitch right. He's going to carry it himself left at the 45-yard line and scampers out of bounds for a couple-yard loss, maybe one. Let's see where they... Gets a really good spot, frankly, back at the original line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up 3rd and 6 for the Warrior offense.
Well, the defense did a good job of stringing that out, didn't they?
They did indeed.
You almost got to think, even though you're a shotgun team, the quarterback exchange. This is their 3rd possession, right? Offensively,
yes, sir.
That's the 6th snap that's been high and slow.
Mainly high and definitely slow. Is that McAllister in there at center?
No, they moved over Big Jake Cook.
They did indeed.
The Ohio State recruit's playing center now.
That's a better snap. Jackson has it, throws left side to White, makes a man miss in the backfield, gets to the midfield stripe, close to the first down marker. He's forced out of bounds. I think he got it, Chris.
Yeah, nice
Sorry,
job.
Stevens, by the way, Stevens.
Stevens did a good job after he caught the ball, making one defender miss. Was able to move the chains.
Somebody had a chance to bring Stevens down in the backfield, but the elusive sophomore managed to elude the tackle. And out of bounds he goes at the 46 of the Irish. 1:51 left in the first quarter. Thanks for joining us on a Friday evening on the C-Bus Sports Radio Network. Mitchell P. and Chris Coakley. Final regular season broadcast. Twins each way for Ronald Jackson. Steven comes in motion. Handoff to Stanley Jackson Jr. Has room off the left side. Inside the 45 down to around the 42-ish.
He gets that first down carry. Like he picks up 5 yards every time.
Game next week for sure. The following week, Chris, it's hard to say. We probably have a second round game. But
I would think so. I mean, we'll still
try.
Keep South in the loop, Watterson in the loop, Darby in the loop if they win.
It's just hard. Once we get to the point where they're televising it, we can't be there, so we'll do our best. 2nd and 5. Hand off to Stanley Jackson Jr. again. He has a first down to 35 at the 30-yard line. Uriah Moore forces him out of bounds around the 28-ish yard line. That'll be enough for a first down, and a 1st and 10 for the Warrior offense. They'll mark him right at the 29 on the left hash. 1:08 left in the first quarter.
At this point, just keep handing the rock to him. Let him carry the team at this point.
Not a lot of beef on the defensive line of the Irish. Make them stop this young man. 4 wide set, twins each way. Ronald Jackson keeps himself right side at the 30-yard line, and he's taken down right at the 29. Nice job knifing in there, and bringing him down was number 25, who's not a starter, but that is Javez Thompson.
Did a good job of cutting the legs of Ronald Jackson there. Held him to no gain.
Big tight end Preston Scott comes in with the play. Sorry, Chris.
No, that's fine. I was just getting ready to say that. We'll see if they stay tight here.
10-0 Gahanna, by the way, Chris.
He's at the H-back position there, Mitchell. Mr. Scott.
2nd and 10. Twins each way. That H-back's on the right side. Jackson Jr. to the left of his brother. High snap again. Pitch to Stanley Jackson Jr. And he's, because of the delay of the snap, Chris, he's pulled down the backfield for a couple-yard loss.
Nice job. I believe it wasn't Ola Batue. It was Israel Hernandez on the stop there, number 65? Yes.
That'll be the end of the first quarter, Chris. 14-0 Irish lead. It can be 3rd and 12 for the Warriors when we come back to start the second quarter right here on the C-Bus Sports Radio Network.
Nothing refreshes the look of your home or business like new paint. Large job or small, business location or residential, Elshire Painting Plus, efficient and professional, hard-working and friendly. Call Scott for a color consultation at 614-302-6878 or visit them on the web at elshirepaintingplus.com for an estimate. Quality painting at affordable prices. Elshire Painting Plus, trusted inside and out.
Back for the start of the second quarter on the C-Bus Sports Radio Network. A little bit of problem with our audio, and Chris is working on that. 3rd and 12 from the 31-yard line of Dublin Scioto.
C-Bus Sports Radio, Central Ohio's internet home for high school sports.
So 3rd and 12 for the Westerville North Warriors. Warriors ball on the left hash. First play of the second quarter, trips wide right for Ronald Jackson. 1 wide left. Now we have a whistle and a timeout. It's going to be taken by Dublin Scioto. So a quick reprieve for Chris here to try to get the technical side of things on the audio broadcast.
Timeout, Irish.
First timeout of the night for the Dublin Scioto Irish.
Sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. We thank them for their support. BMI Federal Credit Union was voted #1 best local credit union 4 years in a row by C-Bus Top Picks. Allstate Insurance with Peace of Rocky will save you up to 30% off your current policy.
Reminder, next Friday night we'll be over at Westerville South High School. Not sure who South is going to play. Again, right now it'll be Massillon Perry, but the chances that staying that way are really quite slim. 3rd and 12 once again from the 31-yard line for the North Warriors. Trips will go wide right, 1 wide left. That is Jalen White all by himself. Ronald Jackson out of the gun, as he will be almost all night. High snap, hands it off to his brother Stanley. He is at the 30-yard line at the 25, forced out of bounds around the 21. Picks up good yards. He can bring up about a 4th and 2. Should be back on the audio side of things. Sorry about that delay on the audio side, folks. 4th and a long, I got it 4th and 2. See what North comes up with on this big 4th down play. They're down 14-0.
Yeah, they got to convert it here, Mitch, to stay on pace here.
Cook, Chris, by the way, back at left tackle, and they've got Brady McAllister back in at center. Jackson will be under center. Well, kind of an inverted wishbone on this 4th and 2. Jackson looking around, surveying things. Under center finally, has a snap, bobbles it, pitches it to his brother Stanley. Actually, that is not that. Stevens with the carry, Chris, down to the 15. And that'll be a 1st and 10 around the, just short of the 15-yard line. We'll give it to 16.
I like how they did that. They went jumbo up front with, looked like Hallett and Stanley Jackson.
Led the way.
Yes.
So with 11:40 clock on the move now left in the first half, it's 14-0, but 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line. Warriors looking to get back in it with the score. Twins each way for Ronald Jackson.
Cook back at center again.
And they moved McAllister to guard. Ronald Jackson will keep it himself, spins out of the tackle at the 15-yard line, twisting down to the 10, gain of 6 on the play. There they moved Brady McAllister out to tackle and put Cook at center. Bouncing them back and forth. Honestly, McAllister snaps it better. 2nd and 4 from the 10.
2nd down and 4 for the Warriors.
Actually gave him a 6-yard gain there.
He did, just kept twisting and turning, getting what he could. Cook stays at center. Again, the same 2-by-2 formation. Well, 2 wides each way for Ronald Jackson. Fakes the handoff to Stanley, keeps it himself around the right side at the 10-yard line, has the 1st down inside the 5, down at the 4. It'll be 1st and goal there.
Deo Olobentui on the stop. Very active. That guy has, young man, 86.5 tackles, Mitch, 2 sacks, 9.5 tackles for losses, and 2 interceptions.
So 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. Ball on the right hash, 14-0. Warriors looking for that first score of the evening. Same formation again, Twins each way. Motion man from the right slot, handoff to Stanley Jackson, junior rather, and I'm sure they wish it was Stanley Jackson in his senior in his heyday. Loses a couple yards back at the 6.
Defensive line, Hernandez in there, knifed in early. I think Kish was in on the stop as well.
2nd and goal from the 6. At the half, we have lots of scores for you. Go over the rankings in the regions of interest in Central Ohio and otherwise flap our gums for 23 minutes. 2 wides left, 1 wide right. Jackson flanked by backs in the backfield. Has a snap, throws into the end zone where it's off the hands of his receiver. White, incomplete.
Thompson on the stop, once again on the coverage, once again.
3rd and 6, or 3rd and goal from the 6. Good crowd on the home side tonight, Chris. Smell some grillables wafting up this way. They probably should deliver some to the radio crew. 3 wides left, 1 wide to the right on this 3rd and goal from just outside the 6-yard line. Ronald Jackson has Stanley Jackson to his right. Now Stanley switches to his left. Snap comes. Faking the handoff to Stanley Jackson is Ronald. He's taken down, Chris, all the way back at the 11-yard line. That's going to be a loss of 5. More than likely a field goal attempt from Mr. Hallett.
Waldrum comes in on the blitz, was right there, met the play as soon as he caught the center exchange.
This will be placed, Chris, around the 18-yard line, making it a 28-yard field goal. Hallett has decent range, Chris, but not a lot of height on his boots.
No, he has power, and he'll boom it through, but like you said, he doesn't get very high off the ground.
Indeed. We'll check out the kick here in a second. Lance Preston, your holder. Preston has a snap it slow, gets the hold down. The kick that time is perfect. No, wide, Chris. It was wide.
Oh, really?
Well, I thought he had it, Chris. It was wide to the kicker's left. So that's going to be taking over on downs, or going to be the Scioto Irish. I thought he boomed that one through, but we don't have the good angle, and rookie broadcasting mistake. Wait for it to be actually called.
Well, I think it's surprised from the standpoint that was the best kick we've seen him take in 2 weeks.
By far.
Young man just put a lot of power behind that. Unfortunately, it just kicked out. Both Lions are playing well tonight.
17-0.
Unless you're in Bexley.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the Bexley Lions struggling.
DeSales 14, St. Charles nothing, which actually helps out these Irish.
Yes.
Because St. Charles is ahead of them. They have 1st and 10. They get the ball back with 3 wides to the right side. Ball's placed at the 11-yard line, so 1st and goal at the 4, Chris, and you don't get any points. Keeping the ball is Arthur off the left side, a little read option. Not much room as he crosses the 20 out to the 22. By the way, that was first and 10 from the 20. As long as the field goal goes over the goal line, they consider that a touchback in high school.
So Arthur picks up a total of 2 yards on that first down carry. I think it was Kopp on Lance Preston is bleeding. They're going to take him out of the contest.
Hartley 7, Watterson 3.
Number 31, Tyler Gubler.
Easy for you to say.
That it was not.
Second and 8.
And I probably pronounced it incorrectly, and I apologize that, Tyler, for you.
Same 3 wide to the right set for Bison Arthur, the senior. Denzel shifts to the right. Long fake. Arthur has time. He's going to float it down the right hash, throwing it up for grabs, really, and it falls incomplete. Trying to hit on that play. One of his wide receivers, that would be Daniel Coe, and that was really nowhere near him. Shamrock 7, Chris. The Hilliard Bradley Jags, Dublin Kaufman 7. The Jags 0. I was looking for the Celtic score, and when it refreshes, it irritates me. We'll get that after this play. 3rd and 8 from the 22. 4 wide set this time for the offensive Scioto. Archer looking over to the sideline to get the play. 4 on the play clock. They better take a timeout. They're going to get a delay of game. They get the snap off. Arthur rolling right, has time, starts to go back left and has nowhere to go, and he'll just throw that to his tight end, who kind of bobbles it and pulls it in around the 25, but well short of the first down, Chris.
Yeah, nice catch there by Wilson, but nice job defensively by the Warriors as well. They didn't go with the misdirection.
Nope, 14-0. The score will remain. Got an update on that Derby score after we get this punt in. This will be Ships to boot it away. Stevens, and who else is that back there? That will be Hunter, Zeke Hunter. Honorary junior, Stevens a sophomore. Snap back, good snap. The punt from Ships is away. High, booming kick, fair catch called for, and made at the 40-yard line of Westerville North. So early in the ball game over at Dublin Jerome, I'm sorry, I was thinking on tangent. Oh, well, it just changed. The Panthers were up 7-6, Chris, and I refresh it, and they're down 13-7 to the Celtics. That ball game is over at Dublin Jerome. Panthers want to speed that game, or really slow the game. Well, slow it down, but speed it up.
They want to keep the clock moving.
Rolling. 1st and 10 North at their own 40. 7:16 left in the opening half. 14-0 Irish lead. Took the opening kickoff in for a touchdown on the first play from scrimmage. Hand off to Jackson left side. 45-yard line where he's submarine and taken down maybe at the 46. First play from scrimmage for Westerville North. The snap goes way over the head of Ronald Jackson. They recover at the 2-yard line, score again. Since then, the North defense seems like I got in the game, really, frankly. Playing much better now.
Offense just unable to. They had a perfect opportunity in this on the last possession and then able to get any points out of it.
2nd and 4. Ronald Jackson keeping it right side, cuts back, gets back to the line of scrimmage at the 46, and that's it. 3rd and 4.
Wilson, Hernandez, and Moore all on the stops for the Irish. Ashton Wilson hobbling off. Two-way player.
Blue Aces playing Watkins Memorial tonight down in Granville. Watkins Memorial, great season going on, Chris. 3-0. They lead over Granville early. 3rd and 4. 46-yard line of the Warriors. 3 wide set. Handoff, Stanley Jackson Jr. hit at the line of scrimmage, drives out to the 48-yard line, but will be 2 yards short of the first down now. I got one official at the 48, Chris, one at the 49. I don't know where it's going to end up. They'll keep it at the 48. It will be 4th and 2. Good job that time by the defensive line of the Irish. Hernandez and others there to bring him down. They'll go for it on this 4th and 2. 2 wides left, 1 wide right. Ronald Jackson in the pistol. 5:38 left in the first half. Maybe Chris just trying to draw them offside.
Could be.
9 on the play clock. I think they just might let it run down, take the 5-yard penalty, and punt it away. And they actually going to take the timeout just before the penalty. Your defense is playing better. You get the kick to start the second half. Maybe don't want to give any moj back to the Irish offense.
Pin them back, maybe, get a quick turnover
Yourself,
or something.
absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, folks, the cameras are acting up on their own as well. I'm telling you, you sit at home and you test this stuff all week. Westerville Central, you don't know what team you're getting any night with them.
17-0 up on New Albany.
As mentioned, we're sitting at home all week and testing the equipment. Not a hitch. You get out in the field and nothing wants to work right.
Marion Franklin 8, South 0. Independence 76ers 8, Walnut Ridge zip.
I'm surprised they're playing that game on a Friday night in the City League.
Newark 14, Northridge zip, and they will go ahead and punt. That'll bring out Howlett. Moore will be back to receive. Howlett, not a bad punter, Chris, but to say that he's deliberate would be an understatement. He does not rush his punting motion. Dry standing back at the 20. Snap back. Punt away. High kick, kind of wobbling side to side. Moore calls for the fair catch and makes it at 18-yard line. So Jariah Moore makes the catch at the 18 with 5:17 left in the quarter. We'll have both marching bands at the half, I would think, as well. Actually, a beautiful night for football. A little bit cool last week, to say the least. That Granville,
last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the
3 weeks.
Granville game was chilly.
Yeah.
This week, beautiful. Supposed to be beautiful tomorrow for the Ohio State-Iowa game, and then off to the Bengals game Sunday afternoon against the dreaded Marcus Mariota-led Atlanta Falcons. First and 10 for Bison Arthur. They've kind of stalled lately, Chris.
North defense, I think, is coming alive, like you said.
Getting into the game a bit. Hand off to Denzel, right side. Again, hit at the line of scrimmage, nowhere to go. They've got the run game figured out. It's almost time, Chris, to pass on the earlier downs to open up the run. Arthur not a great passer as far as completion percentage. 124, 238, Chris, just over 52.1%, or 52% at 52.1. Second and 10, no gain on the play. Arthur with 2 wides each way. Settles back into the gun, waits to snap. Couple hard counts, again looking over the sidelines. Chris, this is a problem they've been having all half, is they're just taking way too long to get the play off, and they're going to have to burn a timeout.
Yeah, Coach Johnson comes all the way down to call the timeout there.
Sometimes I think we get too cute for our own good. Go up, run a play, execute it efficiently, and go.
Yeah, I mean, they rush up like they're going to get, then they stand there for 25 seconds.
Yeah.
A lot of teams do that now.
Again, just to keep to limit the defensive substitutions. Heck, at one point I might just go up there and sub guys anyway. What are you going to do? You don't have a play called. 27-0. My Lions are up big. Your Lions still up 17-0. Bishop Reedy 15, Kip 0. Groveport Madison 21-0 over Central Crossing. Bloom Carroll 21, Hamilton Township 0.
Hamilton Township, one of those teams in Division II, Region 7, that could be a potential contestant against Westerville South next week.
Indeed. So second and 10, 3 wides to the left now for Arthur. 1 wide right, has a snap, fakes a handoff, throws right side. Too tall for Jariah Moore, through his hands, incomplete. Going to bring up 3rd and 10, and if North can get a stop here, Chris, they're going to get the ball back with plenty of time left.
2 timeouts left as well, Mitchell. So, yeah, 2 timeouts. It's like you said, the first possession, the Dublin Scioto, first offensive possession, they moved right down the field, 65 yards, and got the touchdown. Then they get the quick turnover and score. And since then, Westerville North defense has just shut them down.
They've been in neutral. Spinning the proverbial wheels. 4 wide set, 2 wides each way. Arthur has a snap. Pressure coming from his right. He's going to throw it down to the left flat and over the head of his intended receiver into
That's a
the
good
stands.
decision,
Yes.
actually.
Thinking about Dakota Denzel out there, but he just threw it away.
Demetrius John, number 54, putting on pressure.
Yeah, it was immediate pressure too, Chris. He had no chance to set his feet and even look downfield.
6'4", 250-pound junior.
So the Warriors look to get pretty good field position with 4:18 left in the first half, trailing only 14-0. Again, they get the second half kickoff. Ship standing back at his 4, has the snap. Averaging 40 yards a boot, and boots that one about 30, hits at the 45-yard line of Scioto. Takes an Irish bounce back into North Territory, and will roll dead at the 46.
I'll tell you what, coming off his foot, I thought he was going to get more distance out of that, and it just kind of died.
Kicking into what wind there is, Chris, out of the south, so there is a little bit of a wind from the south. Score stays 14-0. Again, at the half, we'll go over all the scores from Central Ohio and beyond.
Have the AP will go over the computer standings, this week's Community News Super 7. Not much change in there,
I'm guessing
honestly.
Gahan is still number 1.
That is correct, sir.
Not that you would be, boasting about your former high school. 40 years ago, Coakley graduating. 40, count him, 4-0. First and 10, Ronald Jackson, another high snap, goes over his head, back to the 30-yard line. He falls on it there.
So with any momentum you might have had going with that?
May just gone out the window.
Yes.
That's a loss of
12, 14 yards?
No, 15. Well, they say second and 26 on the PA.
So 16-yard loss.
I don't know if that was Cook, Chris, or McAllister, but it's just no way Jackson. He'd have had to be Kareem to grab that ball.
I mean, it's just whoever's at center, it's not crisp. I mean, it's floating back.
Bit of a wobbler that time. Jackson has it. Steps up in the pocket. Throws behind his receiver. White incomplete. Now, if you're Scioto, you got a chance to get a stop. Get the ball back yourself.
They have one timeout left. They've had to burn a few here in the first half.
Indeed. So both of our Lions, Chris, heck, my Lions are one score away from a running clock in the first half. Or they only do that in the second half, the running clock in the second half. So if they're up 30+, they'll get a running clock in half number 2. 4 wide set. See if they just hand it off and try to burn some clock. Jackson has a snap. Steps up in the pocket. He'll run 30, 35, 40, 45. Hit at the 50-yard line and taken down about 6 yards short of the first down.
So nice job there by Ronald Jackson, using his ability, I should say, to scramble.
Tackled by free safety Jariah Moore and others. And I think the prudent play is to punt with 3 minutes and change left in the half.
I think Ronald wanted to go for it there. He was a little animated when he saw Mr. Howlett come out to punt the ball away, but it is the proper call at this point. Jariah Moore back deep for the Irish.
Actually, the coaching staff chatting with Cook about the snaps. Howlett standing back at his own 35, Moore at his own 10. Snap back. Kick is going to be angled away from Moore. Hits at the 20, takes a big bounce for the Warriors inside the 10, inside the 5, and we'll be down at the 1. Is that going to give it to him?
Looks that way, buddy.
They do indeed.
So that's
a 1 yard line.
Perfect call.
It was.
Yes. I mean, players' excitability, they just had a big run. They think they can go and get for it, but that's the right call. You shut them down here now. You still have 2 timeouts, Mitch.
You can get the ball back.
And get some good field position.
See if these Irish, I would go under center here. You can't afford any type of loss. You're at the 1. Actually, no exaggerating, folks, about a foot away from the goal line. Wouldn't you say?
If not closer. And Bison Arthur's a good-sized young man at 6'1", 195. Just get him up under center and move that out 2 or 3 yards if you can.
Come up, nudge the center, he snaps, you go and get what you can.
Especially on that from the center over to the left tackle, 230, 245, 315.
Let's see what they decide to do here. Again, first and 99+, and they'll go out of the shotgun, Chris, in a 3 wide set. Surprising. Arthur, he's going to throw the ball, and it's incomplete off the hands of his receiver. Trying to get a pass interference call. You talk about a call I did not expect to see from the goal line. I'm not sure who he was passing to, Chris.
Was it Jalen White on coverage? I believe it was.
Hard to see the numbers from this distance.
I believe it was to Jariah Moore.
So incomplete regardless. They're going to bring in an extra offensive lineman, Chris. 2nd and 10 from the 1. Now you've got 2 timeouts and plenty of time left. Arthur standing about 5 yards deep in the end zone. He's going to carry it up the middle. Spins out only to about the 2-yard line and taking a timeout right away as the Westerville North Warriors.
Yeah, Coach Johnson sprinting down the sideline there to get the timeout. So
2:14 left in the half. Plenty of time left. They don't give him much of a game at all, Chris.
I'll tell you who. Now they've center exchange. They've got McAllister back practicing with Ronald Jackson right now. You know who I think they ought to utilize here?
Who's that?
In the next possession? Mr. 84, number 84.
Hey, young man can run. There's no doubt about that.
Micah Young, has great speed. You get him on a slant pattern, he can run away from most defensive backs.
Westerville South, Chris, 21. Worthington Kilbourne, 0.
So Kilbourne has locked up a spot, though, right? Yes.
No, they have not. I don't think they have.
I think they did.
No, they control their own destiny.
Okay.
With the loss there
That's
from
right.
10, seed 10 to out. So they have not locked anything up. With the win, I do believe they are in, but not with the loss, which is not surprising. Westerville South playing very good football. Back when we had that game against Big Walnut, they really started to play really well at that time.
Yeah, because they bombed against Darby.
Yeah, they did. They did not play well, and I think they would
That's
probably
just a matchup, not a good matchup for them.
So 3rd and 9 from the 2-yard line. Again, Arthur with the 3 wide set. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Denzel behind him, now shift to his right of him. Has a snap. He's going to throw down the right slot, and it's through the hands of Jariah Moore. That was a nice pass. Moore has to bring that in.
Yes. Ball was right there. Catchable pass.
Right down the right hash.
Was it Preston on coverage, number 17? I believe it was.
Oh, I tell you what, your quarterback delivers you a nice ball. Moore averaging 18.6 yards per grab and just let that one go right through his hands. So Ethan Ships with his heels up against the line.
Great field position here, even if he gets his average, Mitch.
You get it out to about the 35-yard line. There's the snap. Kick is away, almost blocked. And it comes up to about the 38-yard line. It's fielded there at the 30-yard line. And I believe that's Hunter. It is. He's going to be stoned right there at the 30.
Minute 56 left.
1 timeout remaining because of the incomplete pass. Yeah, if you run the ball 3 times, Chris, a little bit more conservative, but you're going to burn both timeouts and going to leave them hardly any time to do anything with. Now they got a timeout and
look who's on the field for Westerville North.
well, we've got Scioto. Do you have Micah Young out there?
Yes, he is. I think you got to get him in the slot, do some sort of rub, a pick play, as you would say, and get him
Pick? We don't pick it. Do we pick? That's a basketball term, right?
Get him one-on-one with one of these defensive backs.
What's the delay here? Oh, we have a flag. I didn't see that flag. Did you, Chris?
No.
There's a flag back
No.
at the 2-yard line.
Is it roughing the kicker?
They throw a little beanie bag where the punt was caught.
So they're still waiting for the call. The referee has not made the call, has he?
No, that's why I was wondering what we were waiting on until I saw the flag down back at the 3-yard line. Holding on the Irish.
They'll decline that, won't they?
I think they might add that to the result of the kick. They had it at the 32. Do you add 10 yards to that? Take it down to the 22?
Not sure. That's what they're discussing right here. Or is it from where the ball is caught? The penalty is from there? But why would you penalize them after the possession of the play?
I don't know, sir. We're waiting here to try to get any information. It's got to be marked off after the
tackle.
Indeed, and that's what they're going to do. Taking it down to the 22-yard line. Actually, the 23. So 1st and 10 for the Warriors there, Chris. A great chance to get points here late in the first half and then get the ball right back to start the 3rd quarter. What a change of events, Chris.
Yeah. This Westerville North defense, we said it several times here after the first 2 possessions, able just to stymie the Irish offense.
Mainly the run game. They've shut it down, and they have not been able to adapt with the passing game. 4 wide set for Ronald Jackson.
McAllister back at center.
Man in motion from the left slot. Hand off to Stanley Jackson Sr. Has room off the left side inside the 20 down to the 18. Got plenty of time to utilize your power running game. Gains about 5 on the play. Let's call it 2nd and 4, just inside the 19, short of the 18 by just a skosh. 1:36 left in the half. Same set. Jackson looking right. Throwing. It's behind the receiver, but making the sliding catch, I believe, is Micah Young around the 10. Now Ryan and Cook kind of getting into things.
They were, weren't they?
1st and goal at the 10. Clock winds. Jackson has a snap. Looking right. And throws out in the flat, too. I think he was trying to get it to Zeke Hunter, but some miscommunicado there.
Yeah, because Young ran a flag to the back side of the end zone, and not sure Hunter what route he was running there.
Where were they at last week, Chris? My Lions up 35-0 now in the first half.
Well, who were they playing last week, too?
Defending state title holders, Clinton Massey. 3 wide set for Ronald Jackson. With the snap, looking right, and under pressure and dumped. Bringing him down was Israel Hernandez back at the 17-yard line.
That is huge.
Right now you're looking at 3rd and goal from the 16. Got to get points here somehow, Chris. Field goal, something. Looks like maybe a communication error there on a stunt on the offensive line. Couldn't tell for sure.
Well, he came in untouched.
Indeed. 59 seconds, clock running. 3 wides left, 1 wide right. Micah Young all by himself, man-to-man on the right. Jackson with the snap, looking right, now rolling to his left, trying to square up, under pressure again.
Hold.
Flag comes in, and he throws that to nobody.
And that should be a ground, didn't it? Didn't get it back to the, did it get past the line of scrimmage?
No. Doesn't matter, you got a holding penalty. Got an injury, it looks like, to a Scioto Irish player.
That's Ola Batui. Deo.
That's the cornerback. No, that is the
middle linebacker.
Middle linebacker, excuse me. Dare and Deo. Got to take that penalty if I was, especially when they're going to mark it off from the spot. Coach Johnson looking at things.
Good pressure once again by that defensive line of the Irish.
I think, Chris, they may be calling that intentional grounding, and that could be a loss of down right at the spot. Yes. Decline, yep. Let's see if we get the intentional grounding.
There it
is. So it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 30-yard line.
Ronald Jackson is trying to say there was a receiver in the area. Well, receiver is wearing number 63.
Indeed. So they actually are going to mark it off a 5-yard penalty from the spot.
Plus the loss of down.
Right, so it's 4th and forever. 4th and 36, 4th and goal from the 36.
Ola Batui is out of the contest. He's got his helmet off, and he looks woozy.
He's on the far sideline getting some treatment.
Number 39, I believe, is coming in to take his place. That's Jack O'Rourke, a 5'11 sophomore. And Coach
Johnson
North calls his final timeout.
So again at the half, we'll run down all the scores for you. For example, just looking down and seeing Hartley up on Bishop Washington, 13-3 at the half. Can you figure that Hartley team out? They've been up and down like the proverbial yo-yo, Chris.
Well, looking at their schedule, too, some of that's understandable. They are a bit young this year. So getting ready to go, Mitch.
And they're going to go ahead and punt the ball now, Chris, which makes sense. Not going to get a touchdown on a 4th and goal from the 36, so they're going to have to bring on Howlett to try to pin the Irish deep. Snap back, boot away, brings it near side. Now to bounds around the 20-ish yard line. We'll see where they end up spotting that ball.
Nello, we should be back on air now. Thank you for the heads up.
down and 10 Irish with 39.
Should be actually simpler next week, folks, because we can't do video. It's going to be an audio broadcast only. Should be pretty simple for us.
Well, last time we were here, we had no internet issues whatsoever. And it's dropping the internet issues, it's dropping the connection.
I have not had that. Thankfully, I've got the good 5G on the old phone tonight with the ultra wideband as opposed to the non-ultra narrow wideband. I love marketing ploys. Ultra wideband. Nice way to say we want to take more of your money.
Well, that's what's kind of disturbing here, because I have that connection is going up. I'm running the connection to the audio off of the cellular connection.
1st and 10 for the Irish. They lead 14-0. 39.1 seconds left in the half. I got to think they're just going to hand this ball off and get out of here. No, they're going to pass. What do I know? Down the right sideline, and more cut in. Arthur threw it down the sideline, so that'll be incomplete. 2nd and 10. They marked it out of bounds at the 17. Right hash, 35.4 seconds left. At the half, DeSales 14-0 over St. Charles. DeSales in Division 7 as well. A lot of schools in town in that D2 range. DeSales, Westerville South, St. Charles, some of the bigger city schools. Three wide set to the right, one wide to the right for Arthur. This time he'll keep it himself and nowhere to go, Chris. Just wrestled down right around the line of scrimmage by Demetrius John. Maybe loses, actually does lose 3 yards, Chris. That should be the final play of what's been a sloppy second quarter. And we are indeed back on. Again, apologizing for that dropping on and off. So that appears to be the final play of the half, Chris. We got down to 13 seconds left, and we're going to go to the half with the Dublin Scioto Irish in need of a win to make the playoffs. At best, if they don't get a win, they have no chance. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. And we have reached the half here at Jim McCann Stadium, Westerville North High School. We'll take a timeout, come back with the halftime show here on the C-Bus Sports Radio Network.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit from ESPN. Football has played a big part in my life, but football's also a lot more than just big plays, wins, losses, and championships. Football teaches young people about dedication, sacrifice, teamwork, and overcoming adversity. So let's respect the game and get out and support your local school. You'll be amazed of all the good things you see happening at Ohio schools.
This message brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the OHSAA Radio Network.
Former Ohio State and NFL quarterback Bobby Hoy on life lessons through sports.
The member schools of the Ohio High School Athletic Association share in the mission of educational athletics. That means that school sports are an extension of the classroom and play an important part of a well-rounded education. Student athletes do a lot more than just play sports, but it's the lessons they learn through sports that last a lifetime.
This message brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in Ohio.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Ohio high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Not only can the OHSAA's online fan guide help you get from here to the tournament game there, but it can also help you relive the sights and sounds of a great high school sporting event. The fan guide has driving directions to regional and state tournaments and ticket information, including several online ticketing options. If the game is out of town, a list of area hotels and restaurants is there too. After the game, the fan guide has apparel and OHSAA gear, official programs, DVDs, and photos. It's the OHSAA fan guide. Log on to ohsaa.org/fan guide today.
What's your favorite high school sports memory? A late inning rally? A game-winning shot? A photo finish? Maybe it's a pep rally or a pregame ritual.
Maybe it's the euphoria of a late-night bus ride home after a hard-fought win. Maybe it's having pizza with teammates after the game. Now, imagine if it never happened at all. School sports need your help. With budgets getting tighter, it's more than the games that are on the line. It's all the traditions, the community pride, the culture of your hometown high school. Plus, all those memories that are on the line, too. What can you do? It's simple. Buy a ticket when you can. Go to a game. Take the whole family. Let's do everything we can to keep those cherished school sports memories alive.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
He worked out early, practiced late, and studied well into the night. The next day, he did it all over again.
She missed time hanging out and socializing with friends so she could make it on time to practices and games.
He became a top student and a confident leader, even as he helped his team win back-to-back conference titles.
She became a role model in her community, even as she led her team to an undefeated season.
And when they finished playing high school sports, what did they do next?
She graduated from college with honors and went to work for a successful company.
He attended graduate school and became a difference maker in his community.
Because that's what student athletes in Ohio do. They use the skills they develop playing high school sports today
to do even bigger things in life tomorrow.
High school sports.
A winning part of a complete education.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
High school sports are as American as apple pie. And going to a game or meet is a chance to see the stars of tomorrow shine today. But as anybody who's ever attended a high school sporting event in Ohio knows, you can't have the stars without the stripes. High schools are currently looking for new officials in almost every sport. Who looks good in stripes? Anybody looking for a way to stay connected to a sport they love. If you like the idea of giving back to your community while earning a few extra bucks, chances are you'd look good in stripes too. We want to hear from you. We need to hear from you. No officials means no games. No stripes means no stars. And what kind of America would that be? Ohio needs more high school officials. Go to highschoolofficials.com to sign up or learn more. That's highschoolofficials.com.
Not only can the OHS...
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Ohio. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Well, Mitchell, I swapped out to the second iPad. It's not connecting. It looks like we were having trouble with the server itself is not connecting correctly.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's not necessarily an issue that we can do too much about. Then we will. Do you want to try to do it from my laptop?
We can try. I was swapping it out again to see for whatever reason. It looks. I tried to pull it up on the phone, and the phone is not bringing anything as well. So I think the server might have crashed, as well as all of our cameras. So there's something going on with the internet up here.
Well, do you want to try? I mean, I've got, if you can give me some type of plug-in here, if you got the small, let's see what I've got here. Sport. Looks like I'm ready to go live, Chris.
How are we going to get the mixer to? Sorry, folks. We're just sitting here trying to get this up and running for you from the standpoint. The video broadcast is still appears to be doing. I'll tell you what, Mitch, let's go ahead and put on the Dublin Scioto High School Marching Band while we try to figure this portion of it out.
All righty.
don't have one that long. Let's see. It's got to come out of the box. I don't know if I have a long enough fire wire. It's got to be closer. Connection to that's got to be right there, or where's it got to be? Is it C or a firewire? Here, this is long enough to go back where you were. I was thinking it was a firewire.
Hopefully we are back live here on the C-Bus Sports Radio Network, going old school. Hopefully we get this thing rolling. Let me check with my wife, making sure we've gone. I have a different fee or software than Chris does. And mine tends to be just a little bit more stable because I think it's just the old one, Chris, and doesn't seem to have as many bugs. Dublin Scioto marching band marching off the field right now. We're at the half of this game between the Irish and the Westerville North Warriors. The score is 14-0 Irish lead. Sorry, we've been in and out on you here on the evening. Again, hopefully we can get things tuned back up and working correctly. Double checking as we speak. I'm going to shut some things down so I don't have 1,400 feeds going on with other things trying to draw the network down. Trying to verify with my wife that we are actually getting out. And we are good to go now, Chris. So we are back on the air. So thank you, my wife, for letting me know that it's just the weirdest thing, folks. Mixler issued a new software, and it just doesn't all the time work, does it?
No, and Mevo's software can go in the dumper too, as far as I'm concerned, to be honest with you.
And my wife said it's gone again. So
I think it's the server. I think it's the Mixler server. I think they're having issues tonight.
Yeah, because we're definitely getting out. We are broadcasting. Whether or not it's being actually picked up out on the rest of the internet is hard to say, but we are definitely at least sending it out. My internet feed is good. We look good, and just not getting out right now. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, making sure my internet's running just fine. So, well, we'll just keep giving the broadcast, and hopefully we get back in here at some point. Again, we apologize, folks, for the problems tonight. We'll go ahead and take a quick timeout, Chris. Give them a little commercials here. We'll come back when we can. It's about 9:22 before we get to the second half anyway, so we'll take a quick timeout. I want to see. I was going to go straight to the Westerville North Marching Band.